Video in a little while. I have the fascia covered with a vinyl product from Georgia Pacific, which I am a fan of after using it. I have the soffit in place. I have the surveillance system in place. I have anti-bump key locks in place. You can see it's a custom door, well insulated, should be pretty strong. That's just the surveillance having detected that somebody walked by. I have, let's see, 150 amp circuit for welding right here. I have a 60 amp service in here at the moment, but I could bump it up to, I think, 80 or so if I needed to. The building itself, the shell is grounded. I have another point of grounding I need to add on the other side. I have Ethernet coming up. I have 3 branches here, 20, 20, and 15. The 15 is GFCI, and it's for the lights. So the lights right here, I think each one of these is about, gosh, what was it, 30 or 40 watts or something. So pretty high, but they're very bright. So all of this is GFCI. I have a modified UPS right here for a battery backup for everything. Not the whole building at the moment, but I'll probably have the original rope lights that were put on the building. I'll probably have those as my backup lighting if the power goes out. I have lots of Cat 5. Some of it's for the surveillance. Other is just for general things, networking or serial or analog circuits. I have a couple of controller boxes I did for the fan controls, which I wired up to this thermostat right here. So you can see the fans on both sides. So that side is pulling air from the woods because it's cooler, and that side is pushing it out towards the house. Here are my 6 attachment points for the locking of the main doors, which are about 10.5 feet by 20 feet in total, or 10 foot each. See, I kind of ran outlets all over the place. I think it's every roughly 10, or let me think about that. Yeah, roughly every 10 feet. So it's about 5 foot for the first, and then 10, 10, 10, etc. I used pipe, what is that called? Pipe hanger, that's it. Use pipe hanger for the conduit. So, I have a couple electronics desks over here. Got these from a used thrift store type place, but they tend to have pretty interesting stuff. These are pretty clearly from some kind of electronic lab. I have this area for all my totes of stuff, so it's coming along. The controller boxes for the fan system I'm going to use for other things as well. At the moment they're just analog, but one thing that's kind of interesting is that although the thermostat is using a relay and is intended for actually driving an inductive circuit for another relay, that's how furnaces control it, is a relay and then another relay, but it's very low power. It's just an optically isolated low power circuit the way I'm using it. And then I'm using a couple phone chargers that I took apart for just driving everything. So very low power, like fractions of a watt to keep those running. I'll probably stick an Arduino or something like that in each one at some point and then switch over to a serial protocol. I already created a protocol that's similar to Modbus for that. This line up here that's insulated, the black line, that's actually a PEX line, half-inch from the house. Well, a long way around. It's from the house, kind of near the porch, and then buried, and has several T-points, and eventually goes into this building. Finally got my CNC working as well. Have that hooked back up. So I still need to do some tweaking on it, but it's hooked up. And coming around to the other side. See right here, I have a spigot on the outside. I have a couple external circuits here, more cameras and lights. The cameras actually crisscross so that they don't miss anything. And when the door's open, obviously they can't see through it, but security hole for seeing through the door. Now another interesting thing is that these doors are opening on the outside rather than the inside. That's because it's just about impossible to kick in a door if that's the case. Then the only problem is somebody can still take these pins out. But there's a nice trick I learned, which I haven't implemented yet, but basically you can stick a nail, you cut off the head and you stick a nail in there, and then you can have it line up. Although I'm not sure if this one will line up. Actually, I might have to drill a hole, but the idea is that you make it line up on the other side so that even if somebody takes that pin off, that hinge pin, the door still won't come off. So I haven't done that yet, but so another awning over here. It's much smaller than the other. One last thing I forgot to mention. Here's where the building actually ties in. It was 60 amp breaker right there. And right here I have a meter. I pick up the manifold from just Home Depot and then had to get this from an RV supply store. But I can track my kilowatt usage, which is, it is actually moving. It's really, really slow right now though. So at the moment I've used just about 66.5 kilowatt hours. You can see my line going across that way.